Hey everyone, welcome back. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me for this explainer today, because we are unpacking something that affects almost every single one of us. We're looking at Dr. Arundhati Hoskeri's phenomenal book, The Corporate Maze Decoded. If you have ever felt completely baffled by office politics, or felt like you're working harder than ever but somehow standing perfectly still, well, this is the ultimate guide to understanding the hidden dynamics going on around you. We're going to break down the psychology, the unspoken rules, and the actual strategies you need to thrive. Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for navigating this psychological labyrinth today. We'll be covering 1. The hard work myth, 2. Masks and power games, 3. The anatomy of ruthlessness, 4. Trapped in the chakra vyuha, and 5. Breaking the maze. Let's get into it.
All right, section 1, the hard work myth. So, what am I missing? I mean, we all grew up hearing the exact same advice, right? Keep your head down, work hard, deliver your results, and boom, your career will naturally move forward. But eventually, you kind of hit a wall and ask yourself that burning question. You're hitting all your KPIs, you're staying late, you're literally doing everything perfectly right, and yet, you feel completely stuck. It feels like you missed some sort of secret memo.
And these are the painful realities that they make us question our own sanity. You see people with noticeably less capability just cruising ahead of you. You start to notice management's decisions really don't feel fair. Like, why did that promotion go to the person who talks the loudest instead of the one actually doing the heavy lifting? Your sheer effort just isn't translating into recognition. These are the exact moments when the whole math of your career just stops adding up.
Well, here is the absolute fundamental truth of this entire explainer. The workplace isn't just about the actual work. It is deeply, deeply about people. And people, we bring our behavior, our emotions, our deep-seated insecurities, our raw ambition, and our desire for power into literally everything we do. If you ignore this human element and just, stare at your spreadsheets all day, you are going to keep working incredibly hard without moving an inch forward.
Moving on to section 2, masks and power games.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we peel back those layers of polite professionalism to see what's actually happening in those Monday morning meetings. Dr. Hoskeri points out that a polite smile often masks fierce competition. Take these 4 common archetypes. You've got the charmer, who wins everyone over but maybe lacks a bit of actual substance. Then there's the victim, using helplessness as a sort of shield. You have the aggressor, who completely dominates a room just to hide their own insecurity. And finally, the silent observer, who absorbs absolutely everything without ever really committing. Understanding the psychology behind these masks, that is exactly where your strategic awareness begins. Because once you see the masks, you start seeing the games. Now, these aren't loud, explosive arguments. We're talking about the subtle, hidden games that happen every single day. Someone subtly stealing credit for your big idea. That seamless blame shifting when a project suddenly goes off the rails. Selective communication, where, oops, you just happen to be left off a crucial email chain. And of course, classic passive-aggressive behavior, like the dreaded per my last email. Recognizing these specific actions is your very first step to making sure you don't get played. So why do people even play these games? Well, it's all about power. But here's the real kicker. Power isn't just about your official job title or where you sit on the org chart. Power actually flows through 3 critical currencies. Think of it like a pie. You have information. Who knows what before everyone else? Influence. Who can actually sway the decision makers? And access. Who has the ear of the big boss? Honestly, if you don't hold the fancy title, but you manage to hold these 3, you hold the power. You also absolutely need to be on high alert for specific manipulation tactics. Things like gaslighting, which makes you question your own memory of a conversation. Like a boss totally denying they ever gave you that ridiculously tight deadline. Then there's triangulation, where a colleague creates unnecessary drama by using a third person to talk to you instead of just coming to you directly. Oh, and blatant favoritism. I want to warn you about these right now because if you aren't actively watching for them, they will catch you completely off guard.
All right, let's shift to section 3, the anatomy of ruthlessness. We need to adopt a slightly more urgent tone here, because this is where the daily grind can actually become dangerous. You've got to watch how ruthlessness takes root in an office. It usually starts when a win-at-any-cost mentality develops in the culture. Then, those ethical lines slowly begin to blur, just a tiny bit at first, until finally, even genuinely good people begin to justify highly questionable behavior just to try and keep up.
To protect yourself, you absolutely must watch out for real, undeniable patterns. We are talking about the active undermining of your authority, deliberate sabotage of your hard work, and that silent exclusion from the room where it happens. Make no mistake, these are massive red flags, and you need to identify this ruthlessness before it directly impacts your livelihood.
This brings us to Section 4, Trapped in the Chuck Review Half. The book uses this incredibly powerful cultural metaphor of a Czech review. It's essentially a complex maze that is remarkably easy to enter, but virtually impossible to escape if you don't know the underlying strategy. This leads to what's called the Abhimanyu syndrome, which means entering these really complex situations with total confidence, but without full awareness of what's going on around you. And this is exactly why so many highly capable, super intelligent professionals end up feeling completely stuck. You confidently stroll into the corporate maze thinking your raw skills are enough, only to realize way too late that you don't actually know how to navigate the politics.
So before you end up entirely lost in that maze, you have to recognize the early warning signs of manipulation. If you're constantly walking away from interactions feeling confused, or if you're suddenly filled with self-doubt about your own abilities, if you feel this growing sense of isolation from the rest of your team, or if you just keep facing repeated, unfair outcomes, please pay attention. Do not ignore these signs. So that begs the question, why do smart people stay trapped? Well, it's an internal psychological barrier. We stay stuck because of a deep fear of conflict. We just don't want to rock the boat. We hesitate because of this inherent human need for approval from our peers and our bosses. And quite frankly, we remain trapped because we react emotionally in the moment instead of stepping back and planning our next move strategically. So, the crucial point is the core mantra of Dr. Hoskeri's book, which is this: nobody is a friend nor a foe at the workplace. I really want that to let that sink in for a second. It is a massive mindset shift towards neutrality. If you can stop viewing your colleagues as either your absolute best friends who will never betray you or as evil enemies out to completely destroy you, and instead just view them as professionals navigating their own separate mazes, your mental clarity is going to absolutely skyrocket. Finally, Section 5, Breaking the Maze. All right, let's get into your actionable steps to take your power back and break out of this maze. First up, start seeing patterns instead of just reacting to isolated incidents. Second, respond strategically. Take a deep breath and don't just react on pure emotion. Third, document appropriately. You've got to know exactly when it's time to create a solid paper trail. And fourth, set clear boundaries to protect your energy. You need to learn exactly when to confront an issue head-on and when it's smarter to strategically withdraw. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate transformation we are aiming for with all of this today. Your old mindset was being stuck inside the maze, feeling confused, taking office politics super personally, reacting impulsively to every single slight. But your new mindset, it's about seeing the maze from above. You're going to recognize those patterns early, you'll understand people's true motivations clearly, and you're going to act with distinct strategic direction.
Let's summarize the ultimate takeaway from this incredible source material. As a focused professional, your hard work and your actual skill, that will absolutely get you in the door, no doubt. But it is your awareness, your strategy, and your clarity that will actually help you move forward and rise through the ranks.
So I'll leave you with this final, vital question. Are you ready to stop guessing and start decoding your own maze on Monday morning? Because you have the tools now. Don't just work harder, work smarter by truly understanding the human elements at play. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly, highly encourage you to take this strategic awareness with you the absolute second you step back into the office.